A very good afternoon to all. Myself, Jane Salis, welcome you all to this event. CMTI is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav week of the Ministry of Heavy Industries from 10 to 16th of January 2022, organizing several events under various themes to mark the 75 glorious years of progressive India. As a part of this week-long celebration, today we have organized a session on MSME Connect at CMTI premises under the Action at 75. It's an immense pleasure to have you all to this event organized by CMTI. This event is held in hybrid mode. We have amongst us our chief guest of today's event, Srimati Nidhi Chibbar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Heavy Industries, our eminent speakers and HAL team joining us virtually, and LPSC team, Director of CMTI, Center Head and Group Head have joined physically. Our Honorable Minister, Dr. Mahendranath Pandey, Minister of Heavy Industries, and Shri Krishnapal Gujrar, Minister of State, Heavy Industries, have conveyed their message on this occasion. The message is as follows. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is an initiative of the Government of India to celebrate and commemorate 75 years of progressive India and the glorious history of its people, culture and achievements. As a part of this initiative, Ministry of Heavy Industries is celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav from 10 to 16 January 2022. Ministry of Heavy Industries is focused on developing a globally competitive, green and technology-driven manufacturing sector, including automotive and capital goods sector, which propels growth and job creation. To achieve this vision, the Ministry has launched a series of initiatives, including the faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles, FAME scheme, National Programme on Advanced Chemistry Cell ACC battery storage, Production Linked Incentives PLI scheme for automobile and auto component scheme for enhancement of competitiveness in the Indian capital goods sector, etc. As a part of the celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsava, Ministry of Heavy Industries in association with its CPSCs and autonomous bodies, has planned series of events and activities at over 40 locations across the country during the week of 10 to 16 January 2022, focusing on the themes of actions at 75, achievements at 75, ideas at 75, resolve at 75, and the freedom struggle in areas of innovation, manufacturing excellence, Atmanirbhar Bharat, environment and sustainability, Swachh Bharat, Swasth Bharat, unsung heroes of freedom struggle, etc. The events include inaugurations, new product launches, technology demonstration, technical exhibitions, seminars, webinars, expert lectures, yoga and meditation sessions, health camps, cultural programs, cleanliness drives and competition amongst children on freedom struggle and movements, etc. It has been emphasized to all the units of the ministry to follow whole of the government approach and ensure people's participation, that is, Janabhagidari, in the events and activities in the week-long celebrations. Directions have been issued to ensure COVID-19 social distancing and hygiene protocols during the events and activities. We urge everyone to participate in the planned celebration of Ministry of Heavy Industries from 10 to 16 January 2022 under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsava. Dr. Mahendranath Pandey, Minister of Heavy Industries, Krishnapal Gujrar, Minister of State, Heavy Industries. Now I request Mr. Arun Kumar JG, Chairman, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsava Celebration Committee, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you. Good afternoon, one and all, everyone. CMTI is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav week of the Ministry of Heavy Industries from January 10 to 16, 2022. Organizing several events under various themes to mark 75 glorious years of progressive India. As part of this, a session on MSME Connect has been planned today in hybrid mode, that's in online and also in offline mode, at CMTA premises under Actions at 75. The event focuses on interacting with local MSMEs about their technological requirements in chosen areas of manufacturing, support of services required, and also exploring the possibilities of utilizing the networking or collaborative with MSMEs and individual companies, clusters and associations to develop the technologies relevant to their needs, with financial support available from Ministry of Heavy Industries in association with CMTI. Now, I welcome our chief guest, Srimati Nidhi Chibbar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Heavy Industries. I welcome Sri Ravi Raghavan, President, IMTMA, to this event, but due to unavoidable circumstances, he is not able to attend this event. We welcome Sri Satish Chandra Kumar, Deputy Director, LPSC, and Sri K. Shambhaya, Group Director, LPSC, for gracing this event with their presence. And I welcome Sri E.P. Jayadeva, General Manager, HAL, LCA, and his team for this event. I also welcome today's eminent speakers, Sri Mahesh B., MD, KCTU, Srimati Uma Reddy, President, E-Merg Association, and Sri Madhava, General Secretary, Consortium of Electronics Industries, Karnataka, to address on various aspects of MSMEs. I welcome all the representatives of MSMEs. I also welcome our beloved director, Dr. Naga Hanumaya, CMT, and center heads, group heads of CMT and other team members for this event. Hope this event open up new opportunities and avenues for MSME sector. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Since Sri Ravi Raghavan is not able to join us due to unavoidable circumstances, I call upon our beloved director, Dr. Naga Hanumaya, to brief on the CMTI technologies and services.
Good afternoon. I hope my slide is visible. Central Manufacturing Technology Institute is 60 years old institute. It was established on 27th March 1962 as a Central Machine Tool Institute. Since inception, our focus is to design and develop machines and manufacturing process technology with the aim of design and develop within the country. I will show in the next slide what are the focused area. We primarily focused on ultra-precision manufacturing. Since inception, we have developed about 500 technological solutions to the industry. And in the past, we mentored 6 other institutes. As of now, 54 technologies which are available for commercialization. All these 54 technologies are new to India. And CMTI capability is very well established because CMTI Design and Data Book is kind of a Bible for mechanical designers, even today in the industry. Our resources include 185 regular staff that comprises 67 scientists. And we have a project staff under different category, about 130 people working on different projects. We have state-of-the-art facilities, particularly in the manufacturing and allied areas. We are primarily located at Bengaluru, and we also have a small extension center at Gujarat. We primarily focused on providing metrology services to the local industry. We have campus is about closely 50 acres of campus. So our CMTI focus is engineering of multi-scale and multifunctional parts. That is the driver behind our manufacturing innovations happens in CMTI. We primarily work towards developing a manufacturing processes, manufacturing equipments and machines, and the manufacturing systems, factories, trends. Whatever we do, our focus is made in India and originated in India. Our approach is the promoting inclusive innovation process. That means connecting these 4 P's: product, process, people, and production. While in the category of product, we try to convert the data into design, that requirement into a design. In case of process, we work on innovation to incubation. Then on people, we primarily believe in cooperation and collaboration. And production, whatever the technology we do, this is scalable and also sustainable. This we call it as DISC approach. As on today, CMT focus is we undertake research, develop technology and the machines, and train manpower and deploy them to industrial applications in these areas. Because of the time shortage, I will not explain each area, but primarily we build machines which are capable of creating micro nanoscale features with the accuracy level of at least 5th decimal. And we build a special purpose machines for various applications, sensors and controls as required for these capital goods, textile machinery. Sitting at Bengaluru, which is aerospace hub, we closely work with all aerospace giants like HAL and all DRDO labs, primarily in design and development of test rigs and LRUs. Micro nano manufacturing and precision metrology is another vertical where we primarily provide services to the industry. Smart manufacturing and industry 4, additive manufacturing, and then skilling and reskilling. So now technology transfer and incubation is another focus domain. We want to develop or we want to take these 54 technologies which are new to India to the market. That is our aim. Annually, we offer about 55 short-term program, and there are 6 months training finishing school program. About 100 plus internships we offer annually to the students. Then students project, primarily masters and PhD students, about 20-25 project students work. Then technical services offered in a various about 10 disciplines, and we also offer design and manufacturing consultancy, then technology incubation. These are our research centers. Unlike other institutes, each center is self-sustained. That means is all are delivery focused. Say for example, if SPM is the center for SPM that develops SPMs, where machine designer is there, manufacturing engineers is there, including control engineers. That is how we organized, and these are the sample list of technology which I mentioned, 54 technology which are listed or which are available for technology transfer. Here just I collated the tech machines. You can look at the machines. CMT don't make prototypes. CMT build a machines which could be deployed in industry. So the various machines are there. Each machine has unique capability, and at the same time, my colleagues doesn't build a machine just by integrating a subsystem. Here we build a system and also the aggregates, imported aggregates that goes into high-end technology. Tomorrow someone license our technology, he should not suffer denial of any technology or any subsystems from foreign OEMs. These are another few examples which falls under special purpose machines. We like vertical planetary mixing machines. My ISRO colleagues are there. So we have developed several mixers to them. In fact, we are now developing a vertical mixers of 10-ton capacity, 2 machines for ISRO. And we build range of test rigs for various applications. Annually, CMT build about 78 machines and around 10 process technologies. This is just a sample and a special purpose machine. Last year, we have delivered all these machines in 1 year. This is an example what I mentioned. We build machine not by integrating a subsystem. We build a machines designed and developed by first principles, and we also ensure that subsystems are developed here. This is a machine we feel proud because we recently transferred the technology to S Designer. If S Designer commercialize this machine, he will be the 4th company globally have this capability. Otherwise, we already installed 2 such machines at Bar. This is one example of subsystem we developed in the last year. And we also closely work with academia. This is one example where the concept was demonstrated at IIT Kanpur. So then we built over that concept to build a commercial version machine which is capable of any complex shapes, by using abrasive flow finishing concept, which can produce up to a RA value of about 0.5 microns. This is another example where we closely work with academia. This is the concept demonstrated at IISc. So then with that concept, we built a 3D additive manufacturing machine. It's a micro 3D additive manufacturing machine which can able to build the features in the order of 3 to 5 microns on photopolymer. Then you can look at the very complex shapes. The first picture is on microneedle and cardiovascular stents. So the range of complex components could be built. And now that is about polymer additive, but this is on metal additive. So Cmti is the first to introduce metal additive in India, but it was the imported technology. But now we are focused on building additive manufacturing machine, which could able to build a larger component, primarily have an applications in aerospace in domain. A smart manufacturing and industry 4 Cmti into this area for last 3 years. Our Samarth Udyog Bharat scheme of our ministry. So the center is established at Cmti. We closely work with 6 industry partners. We have developed several solutions. Our focus here is to develop plug and play solutions for converting legacy machine into a smart machine, design and development of precision smart machines, and then the sensor technology which are required are essential component in the industry 4 technology pillars. So as of now, we have demonstrated several technology. One example you can look at, this is an horizontal boring machine of 20 years old. This has been converted to a smart machine. So here the message is for industry partners, if you have a CNC machine, don't replace your capital. You let us know what is your challenges. We will convert your machine into a smart machine for meeting your requirements. This is a smart factory which is coming up at Cmti. So this is not just a demo factory or a prototype. This is production factory, so that one can always envisage how smart factory looks like. And this setup will be ready by March 2022. This is another example. This project was funded by DST. This is an example to show that we closely work with many both industry and academic partners. This way we basically developed a smart foundry. This is IIoT was implemented to sand casting, and we built a smart foundry. The smart foundry was supposed to be ready by August 21, but because of COVID and all, there was a problem. But now this is ready for demonstration. And sensor technology development, we have a facility as required for fabrication of MEMS sensor, characterization, and then packaging. So complete line manufacture fab, characterization and packaging lineup is there in our sensor technology development center, which is a relatively new center. This is the first baby born out of our sensor technology. This is temperature sensor. In fact, we supplied this to ISRO for the performance test. And we also provide some of the solutions. This is one of the solutions, like a thermal error compensation module. This technology was already being transferred to Kenametal to integrate in the precision grinding machine. Now the bottom picture is vertical machining center of Mac Power, Rajkot, for which we are basically integrating thermal error compensation, and then technology will go to them. And there is a 3D scanning technology. This is a new addition to this group. We have developed range of 3D scanning. You can look at this 3D handed scanner, which is going to be launched in another 2-3 months. This can be captured if features as small as about 50 microns. Then aerospace, as I said, we basically design and development of LRUs, and then design and development of test rigs, and then also establishing a test protocols as per the standards. In fact, the product launch which we are going to do just after this is one of that which falls under this category. We are going to launch pump test rig. Micro nano systems, we are working on entire spectrum, that is in terms of nanometers. Our manufacturing capability in nano manufacturing is smallest feature which I can make is 8 nanometer. So 8 nanometer to 1 meter scale, that is our manufacturing capability which we can able to offer. We also offer services. These are all, I call it as a value-added technical services to industry. So MSME, I think you can use this facility. We offer this facility related to machine tool and its aggregate, measurements and calibration. Cmti is NABL certified lab. So we have a range of capabilities, and we offer the calibration of master gauges and all. Then if you have any replaceable component requirements, where you don't have a drawing or you don't have a setup, we also help you in re-engineering of high value replacement components. Then aerospace qualification test, we facilitate you for the component which you design and develop. And then material testing and metallurgy, nano manufacturing and nano material characterization. These are the high value added services which we offer. And as I said, this is just an example state of the art facility. This lab is a nano manufacturing technology center, which is an underground facility. So 30 feet down, you can look at little internal view of this clean room facility. We have a lab of clean room 100 to 10,000. And these are advanced tools with respect to nanomaterial characterization are housed at this facility. And this is our metrology lab. Again, whatever you see in bottom at left corner, this is an underground lab established in early 90s. Otherwise, these are all metrology lab, inline metrology lab. And some of the state-of-the-art equipment we established. In fact, this was the facility we recently established with joint funding from Ministry of Heavy Industry, Government of India, and the state government. And we offer a lot of kind of range of manufacturing facility, particularly the critical component manufacturing. The component which is otherwise difficult to manufacture by typical workshop, we will take and we will develop those components and establish the process and hand over to our customers. So because of time, I will not explain the complexity involved, but you can look at the challenges in terms of dimensions and the geometric features and the requirement of toolings. So there are various components, including like developing a specific attachments to the machine as required to realize these complex components. You can look at this is a surface texture anti-bearing pad. These features are like 200 micron features, so many numbers. I think none of the manufacturing facility could be able to do it. So there's a customized technology we developed by my colleagues. These are like micro needles. You can look at the size of like 10 microns size, tip size of over 10 by 10 array. It was developed for some of the project of Indian Institute of Science. So like that, there are components, sub-assemblies, wherever the components are difficult to manufacture and features are in the order of tens of microns and requirements accuracy level in the order of nanometers. I think Cmti can able to help you. We will not be able to help industries for manufacturing a larger components because we manufacturing facilities, limited facility. Our facility is mostly into ultra precision manufacturing. And we also offer a training program. As I mentioned, these are the training programs, 55 training programs, 25 corporate training programs. If any of the MSME wanted to train your manpower at any level, so we can customize our training programs to suit to your requirements. So annually, such programs we offer up to 2025. Then active learning classes, finishing school, summer internship, and then online courses for MSME workforce. So realizing the involvement of all the stakeholders in the innovation process, that normally called as inclusive innovation process, our Ministry of Heavy Industry has come up with a scheme like Open Innovation Technology Platform. There are 6 platforms were developed. One of the platform is at Drishti. We call it as, this is at Cmti we developed. Other Kite, it is developed at IIT Madras. Then Inspire is developed at ICAT. Technovas developed at ARI. Then 2 more, one at BHEL, Spandan, and one more at HMT and our IASC. All these technology platforms facilitate all the technology innovators or innovation actors to join together to solve the industrial problem. So we invite industry partners. If you have an industry problem which is not able to solve or which is not able to afford to hire the intellectual manpower at your company, So you can use these platforms. As of now, say for example, in our platform, we have 5,300 plus users. So your problems will be hosted and then it will go to all the users. Then you can directly communicate with the probable investigators who would provide you solutions. If required, CMTI will provide the expertise both in design and manufacturing or realization of your prototypes. In addition, our ministry has a scheme, enhancement of capital goods. Now phase 2 is going to be started. This is objective is basically Atmanirbhar in capital goods, machine tools and manufacturing processes. We CMTI have identified some of the areas. I invite the industrial partners to collaborate with us. There are several schemes. Our Additional Secretary Madam is going to brief you about the scheme. We CMTI basically focused on these areas. How you can join? You can join if you are expert defining a specification, or if you are having a development facility, you can join as a co-developer, or if you want to offer a training, you can offer a training, or if you are problem owner, you come up with a problem, we will solve you. That is the kind of opportunities available in this scheme. So through Drishti, this call is already open in the Drishti platform. You can express your interest and your problems so that we wanted to discuss with you and then take it further under this scheme. So this is my last slide. So thanks for hearing this. So you can reach to us www.cmti.res.in, or you can write to me director@cmti.res.in, or you can write to my planning and business head. This is ppm@cmti.res.in for any business inquiries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for glancing on CMTI's technologies. I request today's chief guest, Srimati Nidhi Chibbar Ma'am, Additional Secretary, Ministry of to officially inaugurate the CMTI MSME event and also to inaugurate pump test rig for PI check of airworthy pumps designed and developed by CMTI for HAL's LCA Tejas division.
Madam, please inaugurate, madam.
I'm happy to inaugurate today's events and the launch of the products developed for HAL.
HAL Tejas Division, Bengaluru, has placed purchase order on CMTI for design, development and supply of second line test rigs for pre-installation testing of 87 number of hydraulic, pneumatic and hydropneumatic LRUs of LCA Tejas aircraft. As per protocol for assembly of LRUs onto aircraft, pre-installation test needs to be carried out for LRUs. Pre-installation test procedures are provided by HAL and rigs are designed to facilitate carrying out these tests. Second line test rigs are categorized into 5 individual test rig platform based on type of LRUs to be tested. That is pump test rig. One of the test rig is pump test rigs, flight control system test rig, filter test rigs, universal test rig and static pressure test rig. Pump test rig is indigenously designed and developed to conduct pre-installation test of hydraulic pumps. It has a capability to test all the hydraulic pumps which are going to be mounted on the LCA Tejas aircraft. Hydraulic pumps convert into mechanical energy into output hydraulic energy. In aircraft, this output hydraulic energy of pump is used for maneuvering aircraft. Pump test rig platform incorporates test rig structures, hydraulic power pack, motor drive cabinet, control cabinet, oil heaters, EMDP power supply and oil cooler unit. Pump test rig is equipped with sensors for measuring performance parameters like speed, pressure, flow and temperature of pump under testing. Pump test rig is automated platform. The software is built into control and measure the performance parameters without manual intervention. Following are the three variants of hydraulic pumps of LCA which are to be tested on pump test rigs. One is main pumps, rated speed is 6000 rpm, rated discharge pressure is 280 bar, rated flow rate is 110 lpm. Second one is engine driven pump, rated speed is 4450 rpm, rated discharge pressure is 260 bar, rated flow rate is 30 lpm. Then electrical motor driven pump, third one is electrical motor driven pump, current is 220 amperes, voltage is 28 volt, rated discharge pressure is 207 bar, rated flow rate is 12 lpm. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The next program is handing over PS1 INJ wall ball screw to LPSC ISRO Trivandrum. I request Director CMTI to hand over PS1 INJ wall ball screws to LPSC ISRO team. I request Center Head Niranjan Reddy to facilitate.
So happy to receive your award.
Inspection.
Good afternoon to all of you. We thank LPSC ISRO for placing valuable order to CMT for manufacturing and supply of PS1 injection valve bar screws of 600 numbers. These miniature internal deflector type bar screws, size dia 12 into 5 mm pitch, are used to convert rotary motion to linear motion of the pintle. This bar screw assembly consists of lead screw, ball nut, deflector made up of 17.4 pH stainless steel and hardened precision steel balls. Advantages of these recirculating bar screws are eliminate sliding friction encountered in conventional screw assembly. This results in efficiency more than 90%. Hence, it requires 1/3 of driving force in comparison to conventional lead screw assembly. Having high positional and repeatable accuracy less than 5 micrometers, high stiffness, and it can eliminate axial play. CMTI established a manufacturing process for realization of these bar screw assemblies with stringent process control using precision CNC turning, CNC milling, thread grinding, and precision cylindrical grinding machines and precision metrology equipments. May please be noted that in 1990s, CMTI developed and supplied various sizes of bar screws assemblies like dia 10 into 4 mm pitch, dia 20 into 5 mm pitch, and dia 16 into 5 mm pitch. We are proud to say that presently CMTI is having capability to manufacture and supply of bar screws assemblies in large batch quantities with improved accuracies and cost effectively in a stipulated time. We are happy to inform you that these bar screws assemblies can run with starting friction forces less than design specification of 0.03 kg force centimeter. We thank Dr. V. Narayanan, Director LPSC, and Shri Krishnanandan V, Deputy Director LPSC, for accepting our invitation, and thank Shri Satish Chandra Kumar, Deputy Director LPSC Bangalore, and Shri K. Shambaya, Group Director LPSC Bangalore, for receiving the first batch of 10 numbers of bar screw assemblies. We wholeheartedly thank Shri A. Manikavasagam, Group Director LPSC, Shri J. Nicholas, Scientist G, Shri A. Dandrup, Scientist F, Shri S.V. Shri Kumar, Scientist D, and other members of LPSC for support in realization of the first batch. I thank our beloved Director, Dr. Naga Anumaya, for his support to the project and thank our team members and staff of CMTI for their contribution in realization of these ball screw assemblies. Sir, we assure that we will complete and supply the ball screw assemblies in the stipulated delivery period. And once again, thank you, sir. I thank you one and all.
Thank you all. Now I request our director, Naga Hanumayya, to give flower bouquets to Shri Satish Chandra Kumar, Deputy Director, LPSC Bangalore.
Thank you very much, sir.
Shri K. Shambhaiya, Group Director, LPSC Bangalore. Thank you one and all. Now I request Shri Satish Chandra Kumar, Deputy Director, LPSC Bangalore, to share their views.
Respected Srimati Nidhi Chibbar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Heavy Industries, Government of India. Sri Ravi Raghavan, Guest of Honor, President IMTA. Dr. Naga Hanumayya, Director CMTI. Sri Arun Kumar, JG, Chairman, ACAM Celebration Committee. Sri H.M. Srinivas, Additional Director, Department of Industry and Commerce, Government of Karnataka. Sri Umar Reddy, President of E-Merc Association. Sri K. Shambhaiya, GD LPSCB. Sri Madhava, General Secretary, Consortium of Electronic Industries of Karnataka, and my other friends and colleagues. At the outset, I would like to wish a very happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year to all present here. I am delighted to be present here in the concluding event of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Our beloved director, beloved director of LPSC, Dr. V. Narayanan, could not make it for this today's handing over ceremony function due to the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic situation. On his behalf, I am present here to receive the 10 sets of PS1 injection wall ball screw, whatever CMT has realized. Our director is an accomplished technocrat and an authority in cryogenic technology. His vision for technology transfer and industry participation has enabled many industries to participate in the ISRO program by providing crucial high technology products. PSLV, or the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, is the workhorse of ISRO. It has successfully carried out over 50 successful missions, including Mars Orbiter mission, Chandrayaan mission, and it has put 104 satellites in one go. LPSC is proud to be associated with CMTI for realization of PS1 SITVC injection valve ball screws. PSLV is a 4-stage vehicle. First and third stage is made up of solid stage, and second and fourth is liquid stage. The first stage, pitch and yaw correction, is done by second injection thrust vector control system. This requires admission of strontium perchlorate at a maximum flow rate of 12 liters per second into the supersonic exhaust of the nozzle to deflect the thrust vector, enabling required correction in the trajectory. This operation is done by 24 numbers of single spindle injection valve, which is of ball screw configuration. This requires special type of ball screws to convert rotary motion of the torque motor to the linear motion of the spindle, which in turn is used for injecting strontium perchlorate. Development of aerospace ball screw was undertaken by Mrs. CMTI, Bangalore, during the late 80s, and since then they have successfully supplying for all our PSLV missions. Presently, there is an order on Mrs. CMTI for realization of around 600 number of dia 12 mm into 5 mm pitch PSN ball screw assemblies to cater the requirement of PSLV mission from PSLV C66 to C80. The ball screw is made up of precipitation hardened SS alloy, and its realization involves numerous processes like heat treatment, grinding, dimensional inspection, NDE, etc. The ball screw itself is a complex component with a specified hardness, thread dimensions, accurate pitch of the screw, defined starting friction factor, etc. It is heartening to note that CMTI has built competencies in these areas and are successful in developing the product to ISRO. CMTI is a research and development organization focusing on providing technology solutions to the manufacturing sector and assisting technological growth in the country. They play a key role in applied research, design, development, technology forecasting, assimilation, and dissemination of manufacturing technologies to Indian industries. I would like to compliment and congratulate the whole CMTI team, led by their director, Dr. Nagahanumaya, for their successful contribution to the PSLV and in turn to numerous missions of ISRO, which are of national importance. I request CMTI to be more competitive in their pricing policies to enable more association of ISRO with CMTI for meeting the technological challenges in many other areas. I look forward for more association with CMTI in future as well. I thank the organizers and director LPC for providing me this opportunity to be there, to be a part of this event, and also to share my thoughts on this occasion. Thank you, one and all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable thoughts and information on PSLV missions and your good wishes to CMTI. Now I would like to invite our chief guest, Srimati Nidhi Chibbar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Heavy Industries, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon to all of you. Director CMTI, Nagahanumaya, Shri Ravi Raghavan, President IMTMA, officials from the Karnataka government, our distinguished guests from HAL and ISRO, the eminent speakers invited for this program, and the large number of MSMEs who are a part of today's program. I'm happy to inaugurate today's event, which is a part of the week-long iconic week celebrations of Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav. As we celebrate 75 years of independence, this particular week has been dedicated for the Ministry of Heavy Industries. It is a time to take stock basically of what we have achieved in the last 75 years and also to map a vision for the future where we aim to be. So this is a week-long celebration, and CMTI, like all other institutions and CPSCs under the ministry, has made a plan for daily activities under this iconic week program, and I wish it all success. CMTI, as the director just now talked to you, has been a premier institution under our ministry, which has been in the forefront of innovation and development in the field of machine tools and lending support to the industry. Their varied client base is evidence enough of their competencies in this area. And I wish them all the best. May the institute scale greater heights in times to come. Given that we have a large number of MSMEs in our audience today, and this session is specifically targeted for the local industry, in order to appraise them of initiatives by Government of India and Government of Karnataka, which are aimed at facilitating industrial development. I would take this opportunity to talk to you about a flagship scheme of our ministry, which is enhancing competitiveness in the Indian capital goods sector. Many of you might be knowing about this scheme. It is an old scheme which has been running since 2014. And basically, we had sanctioned a number of centers of excellence in partnership with premier institutions, including CMTI, IISc Bengaluru, and various IITs in the country, with the sole purpose of financing the development of indigenous and cost-efficient technologies and products in the capital goods sector, for which presently we are dependent on imports. The bigger goal being to achieve self-sufficiency and cut down on imports. So about 8 COEs were sanctioned throughout the country. Besides these centers for development of indigenous technology, we also sanctioned about 12 common engineering facility centers all over the country with the aim of demonstrating new technologies, providing training to especially the MSMEs in emerging areas of industry like Industry 4.0, and also giving them a flavor of what are the latest developments which are going on in the field of capital goods sector worldwide. Besides this, we people from Karnataka must be knowing, under the scheme component, we have also set up a machine tool park in Tumkuru, which is specifically dedicated to bringing together units, machine tool units in the state and from elsewhere. We have even invited international players to set up their units. The idea being to put all these units in one place so that we get volumes. We are able to facilitate their access to a lot of technology, common facilities, and the like. So it is still a work in progress, and we hope to see it fructify in the near future. And another component in the last scheme was Technology Acquisition Fund program, where we encouraged industries to get technology transfers, get licenses of patents of technologies which are not available in India, and we finance them. The main component of this scheme was that this was not merely funding by Government of India, it was partnership with the industry, with 80% of the total cost being funded by Government of India and 20% being funded by the industry partner, so that they have a stake in the development and all the activities which were being carried out under the scheme. So this December, we have just received a go-ahead on expansion of the scheme, which we call the phase 2 of the scheme. And we have introduced some new components, done away with a few old ones. So I'll focus on the new components. We have kept a provision in this scheme for augmenting the testing and certification centers. We already have a big network of testing and certification centers all over the country, run by good institutes, even private industry, by state governments. And we would be happy to augment their resources if they submit proposals to us. So this is one which will go a long way in upgrading their machines, in upgrading their technologies, keeping up with the times of what is being demanded in the world, and helping our industries to have access to these world-class testing and certification centers. Another thing which we have done is that we will also be investing in creating qualification packs for skill levels of 6 and above, which is basically very highly skilled workforce which is required in high-tech manufacturing of capital goods. These qualification packs are not there in the country today. We have lower level qualification packs. So we will be giving money to the sectoral skill councils to develop these qualification packs so that we have a standardized skilling level, syllabus, curriculum, and testing and certification of these skilled labor, which can be available to the industry. We will continue with the components like the centers of excellence, like the common engineering facility centers. But besides that, we have introduced a new component this year, which is by far the biggest in the scheme, and that is the industry accelerator. Basically, it's a kind of scaled up COE. Instead of just developing one technology or a product for one particular industry, or maybe 2 or 3, we are asking premier institutions like CMTI, like IISc, like IITs or regional engineering colleges, any academic or R&D institute which has the expertise and has the concept to partner with us, become an industry accelerator, and then select MSMEs or other industries which are interested into cohorts of about 8 to 10. They have to be sector specific, of course, and help them in developing new technologies or products as per their requirement in that sector. It can be a new product, it can be a new technology, or it can be optimizing an existing technology or a process re-engineering, which ultimately again aims to cut down the dependence on imports for that particular sector and those industries. So this, we are aiming at a multiplier effect, so to say, of achieving a large number of new indigenous and cost-efficient products and technologies within the country. So the prime mover in this scheme would be the institute. It is not to say that the industry cannot take the lead. Any industry association can also act as an accelerator. But the only the requirement is that you should have whoever is going to propose itself as an accelerator should have the scientific wherewithal to support these industries. And we also take the concept of development of indigenous technology and product a bit further in this by also hand-holding these industries in terms of mentoring them in making business plans, in mentoring them in carrying out marketing surveys, and drawing up business plans, so that once these new products are developed, these new technologies are developed, they can be easily marketed and commercialized. And one thing more, all these components which aim at development of new technologies which are not there in India right now, although we do provide the IP rights would lie with the developer, with MHI and the accelerator jointly. But there is a lock-in period after which we would like to commercialize these technologies, because the ultimate aim is that the industry should use them and it should be widespread. Then only we can achieve our aim of cutting down on the imports. So this is a basic outline of the scheme, and very, very shortly we will be coming out with the detailed guidelines which will help all of you who are interested in submitting proposals to us. The formats, the checklist, etc. You will find them on our website, that is heavyindustries.gov.in. And I exhort all of you, I invite all of you present here, the academia as well as the industry, to partner with the Ministry of Heavy Industries actively in this scheme, which is a good opportunity for you to invest in new technologies and products with the help of government funding. It will be a win-win for all, I'm sure. And with that, I'll end my talk. And if anyone has any clarification, I would be happy to address this. And finally, I would again thank CMTI and thank all of you for having me here today and giving me a very patient hearing. Thank you very much.
In various schemes of MHI for various MSMEs, especially phase 2 of capital goods sector. We hope MSMEs will make use of the schemes from MHI and get benefited.
Yeah, so any MSME wanted to get the clarification from Madam, you unmute yourself and then can ask. 5 minutes. Right, thank you. So we'll go to next.
I would suggest, Dr. Nagahanumaya, maybe later on or offline, you can actually talk to them in detail. And in fact, I would like to inform everyone that CMTI has already come up with a rough proposal of what they plan to do. They have identified some industry partners, and this will be a good opportunity if anyone is interested to interact with Director CMTI, see what they have planned, and if you want to be a part of it, or if you have a separate proposal, then you may contact CMTI.
Okay. Madam Triveni Banerjee. Tribedi Prasad. Tribedi.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, all of you. Myself is Professor Triveni Prasad Banerjee from Dr. B.C. Rai Engineering College. It's a very wonderful session. As a private organized, we are in a positions how we can go for collaborations and get a apply for the funding. Can you please enlighten some of the details?
Your voice is
Is there
breaking up. Your voice is breaking
any
up.
opportunity for
I would
the
suggest Dr. Banerjee the
private
details.
organization
Right now, we cannot go
user
into the details. You please wait for uploading of the
private
scheme guidelines
colleges
on our
actually.
website. Then you can approach us directly or submit a proposal accordingly.
Is there any opportunities? Is there?
Dr. Banerjee, I can brief you
Okay, ma'am. Thank you,
offline.
ma'am. Thank
You
you.
contact me.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay. Done.
Moving on, I call upon Shri Mahesh, MD KCTU, Government of Karnataka, to put some light on Government of Karnataka initiative for MSMEs.
Good afternoon to everybody. Respected Additional Secretary, Madam, respected Director CMTA, respected guests on the dais, other senior scientists from CMTI, and my dear MSME participants. As you know, so Karnataka is a state is endowed with rich in natural resources, including skilled manpower, and we are in the forefront for promoting MSMEs in the state. And as far as the MSME sector is concerned, we are in the 5th position at the all India level, and we have a base of nearly 7.16 million MSMEs, which has provided employment to nearly 5 million people. In order to promote MSME sector, state government is providing a lot of incentives, concessions under the policy, and from time to time, on discussion with the various stakeholders, we are promoting very progressive policies for the promotion of MSME sector in particular. So recently, state government has brought industrial policy 2025. It was announced in the month of August 2020. The endeavor of the new industrial policy is to place Karnataka as a manufacturing hub and to promote higher and sustainable industrial growth in the state through capital infusion, technology transfer, and to provide world-class industrial infrastructure, including skill upgradation, benchmarking of policies, and we are ready to bring the best global practices to our MSMEs. So the objective of the policy is to attract nearly 5 lakh crore investment in the policy period, and to provide an employment opportunities to 20 lakh people, and to place Karnataka in the 3rd position in the merchandise exports, and to maintain an industrial growth on an average at 10% per annum. So, and we are also providing a lot of incentives and concessions to adopt new technologies and including research and development. So the definitions for micro, small, medium we are adopting as is from Government of India, and those investments which are less than 1 crore on plant and machinery and have a turnover of less than 5 crores we classified as micro, and wherein the investment is less than 10 crores and turnover 50, such industries are classified as small, and when the investment in plant and machinery 50 and turnover 250, we have classified them as medium industries. And as far as incentives concessions is concerned, so broadly it has been classified into, it can be classified into 4 categories. One is production related incentives, technology adoption and innovation incentives, and for sustainability, and also export related. For production related incentives, we have been providing investment promotion subsidy, stamp duty exemptions, concessional registration charges, and land conversion fee reimbursements, electricity tax exemptions, power subsidies, and these are the production related incentives. And for technology adoption, we have been providing incentive for technology upgradation. Suppose if an industry avail a loan for upgrading the technology, we are subsidizing the interest facilities, and we are providing incentives for technology adoption, particularly from the premier research institutions like CSR laboratories and CMTI. And we have a scheme for promoting technology business incubation center, wherein we have a facility to fund up to 50 to 60 lakhs to set up technology business incubation centers. And we have incentives for MSMEs in particular, irrespective of the zonal classification, for ISO and BAS categories. And we have some schemes for MSMEs who adopt sustainability and responsible, like rainwater harvesting, waste water recycling, reimbursement expenses incurred for water audit, for MSMEs who adopt zero discharge, recycling of electronic waste and plastic waste, and subsidy. We also provide subsidy for setting up of ETPs. And for export, for the MSMEs who does exports, we provide electricity tax exemptions, performance subsidies, bank charges, ECGC charges, certification charges, and fees for acquiring other certifications like that. So even we are promoting private industrial parks under new industrial policy, and we are providing shops to both the developer and the MSMEs who put up their facilities in the private industrial parks. So for MSMEs, we are providing land subsidies, water charges, and CTPs, and even for the developer, we are providing facilities like concessional registration charges, stamp duty exemptions, and ETP subsidies and all that. So broadly, the entrepreneurs are classified as general category entrepreneurs and special category entrepreneurs under the industrial policy. Though entrepreneurs belonging to SC, ST, minority, physically challenged, ex-servicemen, women, they are classified as special category entrepreneurs, and they are entitled for over and above the industrial, over and above the incentives compared to the general category entrepreneurs. And in order to promote Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities industry, the industrial policy classified the number of taluks as Zone 1 category, Zone 2, and Zone 3 categories. And we have classified nearly 152 talukas as industrially most backward talukas. Obviously, they will have more, they will get those MSMEs who set up the industries in Zone 1 category, they receive more incentives concessions compared to the Zone 2 and Zone 3. And we have classified nearly 78 talukas as Zone 2 and nearly 9 taluks as industrially developed, and they fall under Zone 3. And the number of the districts, Bidar, Gulbarga, Yadgir, Raichur, and other Hyderabad, Karnataka districts are classified as industrially most backward districts, and Chikmagalur, Dachin Kannada, Mandya, Mysore, they are classified as industrially more backward. Obviously, Bangalore urban and rural is classified as industrially developed talukas and developed districts, and they receive less shops compared to the MSMEs who establish in Zone 1 and Zone 2 districts. The incentives concessions are available to new investments as expansion, modernization, and diversification also, and they are equally applicable to when bank financed and own financed industries. So coming to the investment subsidy for micro industries, so depending on whether the MSME is in which zone, they are entitled for investment subsidy for general category from 25 to 30%, and for special category it ranges from 10 to 35%. Suppose if a special category entrepreneur sets up an industry in Bangalore urban and rural area, they are entitled for 10% of 10% subsidy, investment subsidy on value of fixed assets. And this 10% is staggered over 5 years, and it is limited to 10% of the turnover in each year. So it's also a production related one. So compared to the small category industries, so the investment subsidy ranges from 20 to 30% depending on the zones where the MSMEs are established. Like that, we are providing investment subsidy for even medium industries also, and it ranges from 35% to 40%, but it is turnover limit is 2.5% compared to the micro small industries. We are also providing stamp duty exemptions for MSMEs who avail loan through state financial corporations, financial institutions, commercial banks, regional rural banks, cooperatives, Khadi trade boards, Khadi commissions, and SCS development corporations and other institutions which are notified by the government. Stamp duty can be availed while executing loan agreements, credit deeds, mortgage deeds, even hypothecation deeds. Even while executing lease deeds, lease cum sale agreements, sublease, and absolute sale deeds, when MSMEs purchase land from KDB or KSIDC, QNX, they can also avail the stamp duty exemption in this category also. And even suppose if the industry establishes in a land which purchased under 109 of the Land Acquisition Act, or if an MSME purchases directly an industrially converted land, then also they are entitled for stamp duty exemptions. So stamp duty exemption is nearly 100% stamp duty exemptions are given to both general and special category entrepreneurs, and the concession registration charges is extended as ₹1 per 1,000 rupees. So in fact, we are reimbursing 100% reimbursement is we are doing for land conversion for MSMEs in zone 1 and zone 2, and special category entrepreneurs in zone 3 district. Even we are providing electricity tax exemption for general category entrepreneurs. So 100% tax exemption we are providing for general category for a period of 7 years, and for special category entrepreneurs we are providing a tax exemption for 100% tax exemption we are providing for a duration of 7 to 8 years depending on these zones. In fact, we are providing power subsidy to the MSMEs at the rate of ₹1 per unit for a duration of 3 years for both general and special category entrepreneurs, and it's not applicable to the MSMEs in zone 3 areas. And we are also providing incentives for recycling electronic and plastic waste. We are providing nearly incentive of nearly 5% of the value of fixed assets, limiting to 10 lakhs for both general and special category entrepreneurs, irrespective of the zones the MSMEs comes. And we are also providing a subsidy for setting up of effluent treatment plants up to 50 lakhs for general category entrepreneurs and 60 lakhs for the reserve category entrepreneurs. And we are providing interest subsidy for MSMEs who avail loan from KSFC and scheduled commercial banks for upgrading their facility, like for technology upgradation. Earlier, this scheme was there in the government of India. Now they are repealed, but it is continued with state government. We are providing 5% interest subsidy for MSMEs, irrespective of the zones, for a duration of 6 years. For a duration of 6 years. And as I told, we are also providing an incentive to MSMEs who adopt technology from research laboratories like CSIR laboratories and including Cmti, up to 50,000 to 1 lakh. And we are also providing incentives for quality certifications. If an MSME goes for an ISO certification, this is a process certification, the incentives ranges from 75,000 to 1 lakh rupees. And if an MSME goes for a product certification under BIS, so we are providing 50% fees ranges from 70,000 to nearly 1.25 lakh. And for women entrepreneurs, we are providing an incentive to obtain WeConnect certification through We Connect International Forum. So this subsidy will be extended for a period of 3 years, and the ceiling is around 75,000 rupees. And we have a scheme to MSMEs regarding rain. If they adopt rainwater harvesting, we can provide subsidy to those MSMEs who adopt this kind of rainwater harvesting up to 2 lakhs for general category and 2.5 lakh for special category entrepreneurs. And we have facility to provide the subsidy for MSMEs who adopt wastewater recycling and who who go for when water audit also. So if the MSMEs goes for water audit, we can reimburse up to ₹1 lakh for those MSMEs who opt for go for water audit. And we have facility to reimburse up to ₹7.5 lakh for MSMEs who adopt zero discharge in their premises, irrespective of these zones. And we have a facility to provide electricity tax exemption, 100% electricity tax exemption for a period of 5 years, even in Bangalore urban and rural areas. So this is all about the SOPs for MSME sector. And if any questions, I will take. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for briefing us about Karnataka State Government Industrial Policy 2025, various incentive schemes for industries, and about various funding schemes and subsidies available for MSMEs. I request Srimati Uma Reddy, President of EMAG Association, to brief about the opportunities and challenges for women entrepreneurs. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you for this opportunity to be invited as a speaker on this session. And as you all said, challenges for women entrepreneurship. Let me not talk about challenges as much as let me share my thoughts on what are the solutions for women entrepreneurship development. I've been as an entrepreneur for the past 4 decades nearly. And I remember in the good old days when I used to be part of AWAKE, the Association of Women Entrepreneurs of Karnataka, I used to talk about challenges to women entrepreneurship development way back in the 80s and 90s as access to information, access to finance, access for motivation, and access to a ecosystem that supports women entrepreneurship development. To be honest, we used to talk about women-owned enterprises being 10% of the total ecosystem of MSMEs those days. 3 decades on, we haven't grown much. Now we talk about 14% to be women-owned enterprises. There is a larger need for more women entrepreneurs to be part of the ecosystem of being entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurship provides the opportunity for women to kind of juggle their activities, right? Unlike when you're in a 9-to-5 job in a corporate sector, entrepreneurship does provide the opportunity for them to wear the various hats of being an entrepreneur, being a homemaker, being able to, care for the elderly and also the children, and yet do their entrepreneurship in their own time. Not that I will say it is part-time, I would say it is overtime, but still you have an opportunity for entrepreneurs to manage their time better. And hence, there is a larger need for an ecosystem that provides women entrepreneurship development. I was part of AWAKE for about 16 years. Then I started Emerge, the Association for Women in Technology, Business, Profession and Services, founded this organization largely to support women professionals and women entrepreneurs, because issues for women entrepreneurs or women professionals are the same throughout. So we really do not have that ecosystem that supports women to go forward. For example, if you look at childcare facilities are very bare minimum, not in the corporate sector. Corporate sector provides that. But if you look at MSMEs, it's very, very, very low. Until unless you have a number of 20 plus an MSME comes under the Factories Act, and then you have to provide a creche and such kind of services. So what we lack here is those common facilities in all the localities which are industrial parks. Do any of our industrial parks actually support in terms of having those kind of common facility centers where women entrepreneurs could actually leave their children and go about setting, or leave their elderly and be able to run their businesses? That's just one point. There are many areas where the common facility centers are needed in every industrial park, and many women entrepreneurs are not even part of the industrial parks. We only recently, after we formed this organization called Ubuntu, which is an association of associations where organizations like Awake, Emerge, Pan India members of Ubuntu, we are trying to support associations so that they can service their members better. So what does Ubuntu try to do? We are trying to see that we set up industrial parks right now across the state of Karnataka. So we have one in Harohalli in Bangalore. Then there's one in Mysore. There is one in Kalburgi, and we are looking at other and in Hubli. And we are trying to see that these are women specified parks. These are for women entrepreneur parks, so that we have such common facilities available in the park that will cater to the needs of the women entrepreneurs. So this is still in the thought mode. At least the Harohalli Park is right now in the allocation of land, but we have a long way to go, and there is a larger need for us to hasten the process. The second area that we really need is to help women in the ease of doing business. Quite often, entrepreneurs are really not, and I'm general because it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man, but if you look at any startup entrepreneur, we're really not focusing on our core business, which is either a manufacturing of a product or a service. Most of the time is going for all the various compliances that are now required to run a business. If nothing, there is an Inspector Raj. If nothing, there is documentation. Yes, things have moved from what it was to now, where they have made, uploading of files online. But still, we have a long way to go, because then most of these entrepreneurs are spending their time doing things which they really need not do, and spend so much of time. So it's very important that we support entrepreneurs, and then all the more I'll focus on women entrepreneurs, that we need to help them with ease of doing business. The third and the most important is marketing. We don't have even a place like Pragati Maidan, where we have an India International Trade Fair that happens in Delhi, where many of the women entrepreneurs take the goods and go. We don't have something like that in Karnataka, leave alone in Bangalore. Very important that we have those kind of places which will support women entrepreneurs to market their products, get the recognition from the corporate sector that, here are women entrepreneurs products, that products made by women entrepreneurs that are, actually exhibited once a year, or, twice a year, or even quarterly. And this is an area that we need to focus on. Yes, people have moved online thanks to the COVID, thanks to pandemic. Many of the women entrepreneurs have moved online, and we ourselves from Ubuntu and Emerge, we've conducted so many training programs on how to, register yourself on Amazon. There was a Stree, for women. There was a specific platform on Amazon for women to, register themselves. We did a lot of other programs where women could use, other e-commerce platforms where they could sell their products, and they needed a lot of training. So we really need to have budgets for training programs for women entrepreneurs, not necessarily for the entrepreneurship development programs, which we used to do in the good old days. We continue to do that, but we need to move on to skill development programs, marketing programs, communication skills programs. Lot of soft interventions are needed for women entrepreneurs. And at least those days, the costs were high. We needed them to come be part of a physical meeting. I think now with virtual meetings, we can give them the opportunity for them to participate from wherever they are. People are very used to technology platforms. For instance, Zoom, Cisco, WebEx, Google Meet. All these have been platforms which everybody's got used to utilizing. If nothing, also the WhatsApp. That's really helped them leverage basics of using the smartphone for business growth. Many of them are part of WhatsApp groups where they actually sell and buy. But what is needed is, yes, there is a GEM portal which Government of India has put up for entrepreneurs to, showcase their products. That's fine for a larger of a small scale enterprise. But if you really look at it, the micro and the real small enterprises, they're literally left out of the GEM portal because accessing the GEM portal and browsing through the portal is not easy. It's a difficult process and it's not user friendly. So that's an area that we really need to focus on. So we not only need to do that, but we also need to have a B2B and a B2C platform for just women-owned enterprise products. So some can be retail, some can be a B2B, but I think it's very important that we provide this. So I will just say 4 things. One is providing an ecosystem for women entrepreneurs to be part, because at the end of the day, it's mainstream business. You don't buy just because it's a women-owned product, but it's a product and service that actually helps sell their product. So it doesn't matter what kind of a product it is, but it is made by, but it has to be a product of quality and price competitive for them to be. Very important that we provide that ecosystem for women-owned enterprises to be part of, be able to sell their products. Second thing is lots of training. There's a need for a large amount of training programs for women entrepreneurs. As I said, 10 to 14% growth is very low. There are a large number of women in the informal sector, and there is a larger need for getting them into the formal sector, though many of us as association heads keep pushing for women entrepreneurs to be part of the formal sector, but needs a lot more training programs to bring them in, a lot more awareness, a lot more motivational programs. Third is a marketing platform that we need to support women entrepreneurs. And last but not the least, large number of associations where women can be part of it. Because I think women entrepreneurs specifically find a lot of meaning when they're part of larger networks. They need to find the time to be part of it, and there is a need for support to these entrepreneur associations so that they are able to do what the government is supposed to do. So I think with these 4 points, let me say thank you for this opportunity for sharing my thoughts. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to respond.
Thank you, ma'am, for throwing light on various aspects of women entrepreneurs, like their requirements, needs, training for their skill development. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I request Sri Madhav, General Secretary, Consortium of Electronic Industries, Karnataka, to brief about challenges and opportunities in electronic industries for MSME sector.
CLIC is an consortium of electronic industries of Karnataka, established in the year 1982 with a strong membership of more than 300 industries. The main objectives of CLIC are to promote growth and development of electronic industries and commerce in Karnataka, provide a platform to collectively project the interest of electronic industries in Karnataka, provide information and data on electronic industries, and support electronic industries' effort for technology and upgradations, identify and address special needs of micro and small scale electronic industries, to promote coordination and interaction with counterpart organizations. I think there are many associations like CLIC. We like to participate with them. Then represent views of electronic industries, the Government of India, state government, and even foreign governments, Chamber of Commerce, etc., to support the export activities. To also facilitate and support manpower development, maintain the information center, and appropriate database. In fact, Click in the recent past has done participated in the domestic exhibitions. Because of the COVID reasons, we could not go to foreign exhibitions. Supported the industries, our members, by getting into a good collaborations. So that is the kind of work we have done in spite of the COVID issues what we have faced for the past two years. So after this, I would like to present a small share few thoughts on opportunities and challenges in electronic industries. Just share this 1 minute. So I would like to a little bit of electronics in India. It's a vast subject. We need a lot of time to discuss, but I would like to share the present position of India. India just represents 3.3% share of the global market as far as electronics is concerned. The wish of electronic design and manufacturing is to achieve $400 billion by 2025. India electronics production during the year 2018 and 19 was estimated at $70 billion. But if you look at the global figures, which is estimated at 136 lakh crores, that is 2.1 trillion, we are nowhere, very near to these figures. So if you look at the electronics development, even after the independence, had very little, attention, because the other kind of industries were developed. And in electronics only the defense sector was open and the development happened only in defense sector. But if you look at this big gap, it is really, very, very difficult even for the government of India or the electronic industries in India to catch up. So this is the position at this time. Now, what are the challenges in electronic manufacturing? Shrinking operating margins. Then you have what is called as complex global supply chain issues. Then you have an issue of service and warranty management. Then the short product life cycles. Earlier days, a product was developed and it would last for 2 decades or 3 decades. But now the situation is totally different. The product cycles are very short. Uncertain customer demands. And sustainability is a big issue. Trade barriers like multiple certifications and inventory management due to varying lead times. And you may be aware, particularly after the COVID, that is 2020, a lot of semiconductor manufacturing industries changed their manufacturing schedules and created huge, lead times, wherein the electronic industries in India could not cope up. Even today, the semiconductor manufacturers are quoting a lead time of 25 weeks, 40 weeks. So half of the year is gone in just getting the materials and the rest 6 months is left for performance. So this is a very difficult situation what we are facing now, and due to which inventory management is becoming a big challenge. Now, what kind of major electronic industries are available for the Indian industries? One is semiconductors. The second one is electronics manufacturing services. The third one is original equipment manufacturers. They manufacture machineries where they use electronics. Those are called as OEMs. The challenges is explained in a much detailed way. Like we talked about the shrinking operating margins. Global competition and new innovations are driving prices down. Companies must continually become more cost efficient to remain profitable. Now, if you look at the development, what is happening, every 6 months, you see a new product. And by the time industries gear up for the existing products, they are challenged with the new products. So the innovations are coming up very fast. Because of this, there is a pressure on pricing. And issues such as traceability and compliance are increasing. I think people here audience, they will be much aware, particularly electronics. Earlier days, we used to develop the product, test it, and put it in the market. And slowly, these products were demanded by a certificate. For example, you need a certificate for US market, you need a certificate for European market, you need a certificate for Russian markets. So these are the compliance part. So this is basically in compliance part is increasing and putting a lot of burden on the manufacturers. And the focus on supplier quality management, which is having a very strong quality and traceability system, affecting directly the warranty reserves and post-production service. If you look at the management standards like ISO and many other quality management system, it demands, so it is stringent compliance and traceability system, which is really a burden on the electronic manufacturing units. Rather than putting efforts in designing a product, the right product, there are additional requirements which are laid down by each country. And changing consumer tastes and preferences, like EMS companies and contract manufacturers used to assemble or produce the same kind of products, but now there is a demand to look at new product introduction processes. You have to constantly think of NPI process should be in place. Otherwise, they will be out of business. Coming to the sustainability and uncertain demands. So we all talk about the lean production, lean manufacturing processes. So efficient lean capabilities has to be in place to keep the inventory aligned with demand. If you look at the customer's demand, earlier days we had two peaks, September and March. But now the months, where the peaks are demanded are totally changed, and each country has a different kind of peaks. So to align to that, we need to be working on lean production methodologies. Then the emerging regulations and standards are forcing companies to account more and more for corporate social responsibility in decisions. I think our friend KCTU MD was talking about the e-waste. In fact, e-waste is driving conversations about the disposal of products and their impact on environment. So earlier we never thought about these aspects. So when we develop a product, we meet the specifications, we also meet the compliances, and now it is the e-waste issues which are coming up. So companies must now consider of the complete product life cycle in decisions. So it is not just R&D, it gets extended to so many other departments to comply with. What is lacking? So commercially, high cost funding, then repayment holidays not adequate, and the supply chain logistics. Basically, the repayment holiday for electronics, particularly it is a capital intensive industry. So the repayment holiday has to be much more than the present ones. And the supply chain logistics, we all know how it affected these during these 2 years, and it is even now affecting us as a bottleneck. Technically, what we are lacking? One is lack of quality power, then inadequate component manufacturing base. Particularly in electronics, the component manufacturing base is really lacking in India. We do not have support for the components. Most of the products use 50% of the electronic components which are used in the product are imported, and we have to still depend on imports, depend on the forex variations, then depend on the RBI rules. So this is basically affecting the manufacturing industries. Then we have limited design capabilities, lack of focus on R&D, inadequacy in skill development, which leads to low productivity and high cost of production. If you look at electronics, one side we have a minimum wages act, and the assemblies where it is manual assemblies or even semi-automatic assemblies, they demand skilled manpower. Skilled manpower is particularly, we talk more about skilled manpower, and our Government of India has taken a lot of initiatives. In spite of that, we are not able to, electronic industry is not able to get the right kind of skills for the production. So all this is adding up the cost, and the production of the part the cost of the product becomes expensive when you look at other countries like China and Taiwan. We have plenty of opportunities. Electronics, though it was a very small branch, now it has so many opportunities, like we have digital electronics, analog electronics, microelectronics, circuit design, so on and so forth. And the new ones added are nano electronics and bioelectronics. Opportunities are really great, and a lot of opportunities are available. So looking at the problems, as far as I am concerned, I am from an industry in power electronics for the past 30 years. So I just put my thoughts here, what is lacking and where the government has to give their attention. One is the government must promote fabs in India. Second one, government on one hand talks about ease of doing business, but imposes new rules time to time, particularly for the electronic sector, which recently I think they have introduced something called HMs. And there is a supply chain problem, high cost of freight and logistics, which needs to be addressed, due to which Indian products are not competitive. I work with foreign buyers. When we work on the prices, our prices are fantastic. They say a very good price. The moment you make a CIF from FOB, they say it is really very high cost. So the freight costs are very high, which is not allowing the electronic industries in India to compete with countries like China and Taiwan. To revive the existing passive component manufacturers. If you remember, in 80s and 90s, many manufacturers started working for passive components like resistors, capacitors, and so many other passive components. This industry is suffering a lot now. And if you know, Indian manufacturers will depend more for these parts from China and Taiwan. China makes a lot of money on passive components. In India, even though we have industries, we are not able to compete with these countries. So government has to really address these industries and help these industries to revive. And the local industry at the same time should support such industries so that they make use of Indian components and make the products. I think this is where we need a lot of focus if electronic industry is really taken seriously. And there should be a policy for backward integration of semiconductor components. Like presently we don't have chips, we don't have fabs, but get the chips and do the backward integration in a larger set way. Like presently few people may do the packaging, but this should be at a larger where we get the chips and integrate all the semiconductors, maybe active components, maybe passive components, maybe power electronics, maybe devices like MOSFETs, IGBTs, whatever is used in the electronic industry. I think these are my thoughts. I think one or two are the issues which are generally not talked about. My own thoughts are, we should have fabs. We should revive the passive component industries in India for the Indian manufacturers, and also have a very good policy, strong policy for the backward integration of semiconductor components. This is what actually I wanted to say about opportunities and challenges in electronics. And if you have any questions on this, you can ask. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for briefing about challenges in electronic manufacturing, opportunities in electronics, and throwing light in policy for MSMEs. Thank you, sir. Moving on to interaction section, I would like to request participants to have their queries.
Good afternoon. Floor is open for discussion. We request friends to unmute and ask. Either you can ask specifically or making general comments.
Now we have come to an end of this session. Thank you all for making this event a successful one, and have a great evening ahead. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.